Hey everybody, welcome to my webinar, my Google Hangout. This is going to be about how to master your mind. I know that sounds a little out there, a little hokey pokey, and a little large of a goal to do, but that's what I'm about. We're about being large and in charge of your life. So thank you for joining me. I know there's going to be some other people still joining us shortly. So in the meantime, I'll just give you a little background about myself and what you can be expecting from this webinar, this Google Hangout. So my name is Naeem Mahmood. I live in Brooklyn, in New York, and I've basically been studying mind technologies, accelerated learning technologies for the past 4 years now. I was working in finance at a fund of hedge funds, and I just wasn't happy with my life, and it wasn't the way I wanted it to be. And I knew there was something more. Just deep down inside of me, I knew that my life, I wasn't living to the full potential that I could be living up to, and I knew there was answers out there for me to find. I just had to go out and find them. So that's what I did. I quit my job, and I literally spent the last 4 years of my life focusing on how can I create the life that I want to create for my life and for myself. And that's what I've become very effective at. I've produced awesome results for myself in my life, physically, in my relationships, in my finances, in my career. And I'm still going. The process doesn't end. But I've come very far, and I'm very happy about where I've come from, that I wanted to start sharing with other people. I just started sharing it naturally with friends and family, and they've gotten great results also. And I figured, hey, why not go out and share it with the world and spread the love and spread the value that I can add, because I wish I knew this a lot earlier. Obviously, I'm very happy that I found out what I did, which was the age of 24. But if you're younger, or even if you're older, it doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters is you realize you can change, you are responsible for your life, and you can make whatever you want to have happen in your life. So, that being said, I'm going to take a sip of water. So, who am I aside from what I just told you about that little background? What are my credentials? What makes me special, or why should you listen to me? I am an NLP master trainer. NLP stands for Neuro Linguistic Programming. That's a big word. But basically, it's a communications technology on how to communicate better with yourself, with other people, and basically how to create what you want in your life. Everything in life is about communicating. Whether you're aware of it or not, you're communicating with yourself all the time through your thoughts. That creates your feelings in your body, and that also creates the behaviors and the physical actions you take in the world. And then obviously that has a reflection and an impact on people that you interact with in your life. So again, this webinar is about how you can learn how to actually manage your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. It is an actual, there's a system behind it, there's a science behind it. You can learn how to actually do this. I never knew that was possible. I used to live in reaction to life, and I didn't know that I can actually do this. I heard about The Secret. I was like, oh my God, just visualize what you want, which is cool. There's very fundamental truths behind it. But it just I didn't know how to do it, right? Like, if you just visualize good things all day, yeah, it's one part of the equation, but you still got to go out and do things, right? If you visualize having whatever goal it is that you want, that's great. That's a part of the process, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to manifest in your life just by doing nothing. You have to still do something and get out there and work your butt off. So here is what we are going to focus on in this Google Hangout. There's 3 major parts when it comes to managing your mind and your physical life and your life and creating the life that you want. The first part is your mental focus. You need to understand that your thoughts are real things, and you have the ability to direct them to create positive things in your life or negative things in your life. It's your choice. The second part is your language. The language patterns we use are very, very important, and most people aren't aware of this as well. I wasn't either. The words you use are representations of your experience of life in a certain moment in time. If I use words like, I'm so frustrated, this is so hard, this is so annoying, I'm depressed, that'll make you feel a certain way, that'll make you produce a certain behavior, that'll make you produce a certain action and result in your life, which won't be very valuable for you, I can tell you that. Versus you can just change the label. A word is a label, it's a representation of an experience. If you say you're frustrated, if you feel frustrated, you might feel frustrated. I'm not saying lie to yourself, I'm saying acknowledge it. But you can also change the label and say, oh, I'm challenged, right? Challenge is a more empowering word. It still acknowledges the fact that you're feeling a certain way, but it gives you the proactive ability to make a difference that you want, that's more outcome-oriented, that will get you results you want in your life. The third major topic is your physiology, how you literally move your body. Your body is such an important part of your life. Working out is an important part of your life. You have to learn how to use it, how to activate it, how to use it in your favor, right? If you are moving slowly all day, if you talk slowly, if you just are a slow human being, there's nothing wrong with that. But versus if you move up and down, if you move your body, if you shake it out, you will feel a physical change in your biochemistry. Your body and your mind are linked, right? So if you're at work, if you're at school, if you're home, if you're sitting down for more than an hour, you will start to feel more lethargic. If you get up, jump around even for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, it'll change your state. It'll change the way you're feeling, and you'll become more active and in your approach. And whatever you're doing, even if you're trying to relax, there's still this thing of active versus passive relaxation, work, blah, blah, blah. You want to be resourceful. You want to be active. You want to be able to produce results that you want in your life. So how long is this webinar going to be? This webinar or this Google Hangout, I'm going to use those words interchangeably. They're pretty much the same thing. It's going to be about 30 minutes since our start time, which was about 12 minutes ago. So it'll be about 18 more minutes. This is basically just an introductory webinar. And there's a lot to cover here. I'm covering the basic foundations, the simple parts, and we will get into the more details and the nitty-gritty later. But first, the reason I'm doing this way is because you must master the fundamentals first, the simplicity, right? Life is about fundamentals. It's about mastery of the simple things. It's not about doing 12,000 things 4 times. It's about doing 4 things 12,000 times. That is from the great Chet Holmes, who was a master salesperson. So, what's my story aside from what I just told you previously? I'm an NLP master trainer. I do seminars here in New York City at my good friend's tech co-working space called The Farm in Soho. I've also worked in the fitness industry. I was a trainer before. I was a coach, fitness coach before, at some of the best gyms here in New York, at Equinox, the Reebok Sports Club, and Peak Performance. I've trained celebrities, athletes, models, actors, all that, and businessmen, and just regular people also. I've gotten results for them. I've used my experience in NLP and accelerated learning in fitness, right? Because with everything, the psychology always comes first. 80% of psychology, 20% is strategies and mechanics, right? So whenever my clients had a problem, I would always start with the mind and get them to optimize first. Thirdly, I've built technology startups. I've worked in the technology industry, kind of in the tech co-working, tech startup industry. I've worked on a mobile ad platform. I've worked on a nonprofit fundraising platform. And I also still work as an advisor for some tech startups. And I've also lastly worked at hedge funds and some venture capital funds. Now you might say, hey, you're all over the place, or how do you do all this stuff, right? And it's not that hard once you realize how to use your mind, right? Because again, a computer system is modeled after the human brain, right? If you could set up the code, the infrastructure, the systems for you to operate most effectively and efficiently, you can produce massive results by doing one action. You can set up a function on a computer in a coding system, or an if-then statement, or any dependency, or any sort of coding, right? I'm not too familiar with code. I'm somewhat familiar with code. You can set up a code that basically says, if I do this, all this downstream massive action will happen, right? So that's what I've done with my life, right? I have different areas of my life where I set up certain systems, certain rituals that produce 10x, 20x, exponential amount of results based off of one simple action, right? And again, it takes time to build there. It's just work. Everything's always work. It's not easy. It always looks easy on the outside, but it is possible. It's all about leverage and setting up systems. So how did I get to this point? Well, like I said, I was very unhappy with my life. I was struggling. I was constantly quitting everything. I played basketball in college. I played at NYU, and I was very frustrated, right? I just couldn't get over this hump for every area in my life. And excuse me, I just got a message from somebody who also wants to join the webinar. So I was frustrated. I quit everything. I quit my first job. I quit my second job. I quit my third job. And that's when I hit my breaking point, right? I was at my fund of funds and I said, hey, this isn't right for me and I got to figure this out. So I quit, and that was part of the pattern, right? I kept quitting things. And looking back in retrospect, that was one of my limiting patterns in my life, right? It got challenging, and instead of going through it, breaking through it, because I didn't have that mental belief, I didn't have that mental fortitude inside of me, the strength to say, hey, this is my challenge. This is what life is giving me. This is what life is throwing at me, and I need to make the best of it. Life is happening for me. It's not happening to me, right? Before I would react to life, now I am proactive in life, right? So anyway, I did quit, and I figured this all out, and I'm still figuring it out. That was part of my pain, my struggle. And lastly, like I said, I was expecting life to be easy. I didn't think it would be challenging. I don't know where I got that idea from, but I thought it'd be easy. I thought I'd just make millions of dollars and have a happy, fun life. Part of it was because my life was always handed to me on a silver platter. I didn't have to work for much as a kid, and it came back to bite me as an adult. Another pain point of mine was I didn't like my childhood. My parents always fought, and it was not fun being in a household with domestic violence. Constant fighting, never seeing any affection or love, and it was very, very disheartening for me. I also didn't fit in at school. I was one of the few ethnic minorities at my school, and I didn't get along well. I did get made fun of a lot, and that wasn't fun. And lastly, I didn't have the relationship I wanted in my life with girls and socially. It just was a challenge of mine. I couldn't connect, and I wanted to make a change there too. So what was my solution? My solution was I hit my threshold and I said, I'm going to figure this all out. I'm going to make my life the way I want it, because I knew I didn't settle. That's very important. You need to have, and this can't be taught, you need to have something inside of you, a hunger that you won't settle, that you know life can be better than it really is for you. Some people have it, some people don't, unfortunately. But that is internal drive that comes from you. I don't believe it can be taught. I believe it can be ignited and found, but I don't think it can be taught. I think everybody has this or they don't. So I studied NLP, I studied other accelerated learning technologies. I read a bunch of books, a lot of them, and I still read a lot of books every day. And I started creating results, I started creating momentum, and I'm super happy. And it was never my intention to be a coach, to be a trainer, to start sharing this information. But as I'm sure you've had this experience in your life, once you learn something new, once you achieve goals for yourself where you were struggling before, it is a part of human nature to want to share with other people. Because when you do that, it magnifies the emotion that you're feeling for yourself, and you want to share it with other people and have them experience the same amazing experience that you had. So the content, again, as I said, it's going to be 3 parts: mental focus, language, and physiology, okay? Those are the 3 main areas of peak performance of your mind and to create the results you want in your life. So I'm going to go over each one, again, in a little more detail now, and then we'll wrap up, and we will have another webinar in a few weeks, and we'll go into more detail, okay? So mental focus, right? Your mind, your thoughts. How does that work, right? Like, I know some of you might believe me that you can control your thoughts. Some of you might think that's BS. I'm here to say it is not BS. I used to believe it was. I used to react in my life. I used to say, oh my God, like, life just happens to me, and this is what happened, and I'd react, and like, I'd lose my job, and I'd whine about it. I'd say, it's that person's fault. Or a girl would say, no, I don't want to go out with you, in a big, oh, I'd blame it on her. I'd blame it on myself. I'd get down on myself, right? And I'm telling you now, it's possible to control how you choose to react to any situation. You are in control, right? If you've ever read Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, that man has been through hell that most of us cannot ever imagine. He went through the concentration camps during the Holocaust. He saw all of his family murdered by the Nazis, and he basically said when he survived through that whole ordeal, when he wrote his book and he was interviewed, how did you do it? And what was the difference between you and everybody else? And he said everybody else, basically, they didn't give the experiences they had the meaning that they should have, or that they could have, right? They gave it disempowering meanings. They got down on themselves. They said, this is the end. They said they couldn't do it anymore. Then they produced those results for themselves. They couldn't move forward. They didn't have the mental strength and fortitude. While Viktor Frankl, he unfortunately, it's not to deny the terrible events that happened in his life, but it's still saying, hey, this happens. Obviously, it's terrible. You would never, ever want that to happen to anybody. But being said, you still got to live your life. You still need to see as life happening for you, no matter how difficult that might be. And moving forward, creating the meanings that will empower you to continue with your life in a proactive and empowering way to create the outcomes you want. He survived. He wrote a book about it. Now he inspires and empowers millions of people with that book and his message and his story and his heroism. So your mental focus, how does it work? So basically, your mind processes your experience of the world through 6 senses. Our 5 main senses, right, are visual, our auditory, kinesthetic, our gustatory, our taste, and our olfactory, our smell, right? And the 6th one is called digital, right? Digital is more kind of like people that process things through information and logic, right? Kind of using their analytical side of their brain. But what happens is you basically have an input, a visual input, a mental, auditory one, a physical one, a smell, a taste, and your brain, you have an external image, external experience, and an internal experience inside your head, right? So I can see my computer in front of me, I can see myself being filmed, right? And inside there's an image of what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, what I'm feeling, right? And it doesn't always match up. Sometimes it's different, right? And this is where the subconscious comes into play. This is what we're not aware of, and this is where we need to become aware of it. Our internal representation versus our external representation, right? Because sometimes it's disempowering, right? It says things like, oh, I'm not good enough, or it puts a picture of something that disempowers you, that makes you act not resourceful, that makes you act ways that you don't want to act, right? So if you're speaking in front of public, an audience, and you see people blown up, or they're laughing at you, they're smiling at you, you think, right? They're making fun of you, and you don't speak resourcefully because of that, right? Versus you can change that image, regardless of what the reality you think might be, you can change it to them nodding at you, receiving all the information you're saying, being very happy to hear what you say, right? You take that in instead, and it makes you act a different way. It makes you deliver your message more inspiring, and you deliver a more productive and effective speech and message and story for the rest of the world to receive, and you impact their lives. So that's a taste of your mental focus, okay? And that leads to your physical feeling, your body, right? You literally feel a certain way. This happens in an instant, like we're not even aware of it. Physical feeling, and then a physical action in the world, right? You do something as a result. If I make an empowering image of you guys listening to me right now on this webinar, even though I can't see any of you, I can still picture in my head people listening to me or whatever it is, right? And I can picture all of you guys. You're super happy to listen to the words I'm saying right now. It's touching your hearts. It's touching your souls. You love it. You're hanging on to every single word. You're going to take this content and go share it with the world. It's going to change your lives, right? And as a result of that, I deliver a more effective, a more proud, a more happy, a more enthusiastic, confidence speech, talk to you guys and share my story, right? And you can see the change in my state. Just by talking about it, it changes my state. I feel it, right? And I'm sure you see it in my body. Versus if I picture you guys not so happy, saying, oh, this is BS, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, oh, this guy's an idiot, right? That makes me feel not so great. and then it makes me deliver not such a great message in a story, and I might even stop doing the webinars entirely because I'm not confident. I lose confidence, I lose enthusiasm, I don't want to do it. I say, oh, it's not worth it, it's not going to happen, it's not going to work, right? So that's a little cycle right there. Visual, auditory, external input, any of those senses into your internal representation. Then you go here, internal representation to a physical internal feeling, and then from there, you create an action or a behavior in your life. Got it? Cool. Next up, your language. Your language, as I said earlier, is very important because, again, the words you choose to put on things become your experience, right? If you're experiencing fear, you could also say it's excitement, right? It flips it entirely, right? Sometimes you're going into a new experience, a new situation, and you feel nervous, anxiety. But you could say, oh my God, I'm nervous. Oh my God, I'm fearful. Oh my God, I'm scared. Or you can say, oh my God, this is so exciting. Oh my God, I am enthusiastic, right? Again, not to say disregard those feelings, acknowledge those feelings, but the label you put on it changes what it means to you, right? And what it means to you is how you'll act. So your language is very powerful. They are weapons, for lack of a better word. Some people might have positive associations to that. Other people might have negative associations to the word weapons, right? Some people think, oh my God, weapons is war. Other people think, oh my God, weapons, that's kind of cool. It's like a martial artist and you can do things with that. And you can like create impact on people's lives, right? So again, that's the power of a word, weapons, right? What does that mean to you? And also on the flip side, it's you, but then there's also, sometimes there's other people in part of a conversation. It's not always you communicating with just you. You are also communicating with other people, right? So what is the word or words that you can use to communicate better with this person or people that you're talking to, right? So say it's just one person, for example, just to keep it simple for now. There are certain words that resonate better with certain people. Some people process their experience of the world mostly visually. That is, they make pictures in their head about life and they see things. They look at things. They see colors and they see brightness, right? And that makes the biggest impact on them. Other people are auditory. They hear things. They can, they tune into what you're saying, right? And other people are kinesthetic. They're moved by what your words are saying. They speak a little slower, right? They feel a little more, right? And again, it's not to say just it's one or the other, right? Everybody has a blend of all of these, but in certain contexts, in certain situations, one leads versus the other, right? Some people are primarily auditory, some people are primarily visual. That being said, if I want to connect or build rapport with somebody who is primarily visual and I want to connect with this person, right? It would make most sense to me, for me to use words like look, see, whatever other visual predicates there are, right? This person, that would resonate with this person. This person would appreciate that. They would understand what I'm saying more. They'd be more interested versus if I wanted to break rapport, I would use words like auditory ones, right? Like, oh, I heard that this is happening. Oh, I tuned in the other day. Oh, did you hear that sound, right? So they wouldn't resonate as well with the person wouldn't be as captivated about what you're saying. So you can try this out yourself with friends in practice or just people when you are out in your regular daily lives. Try it with your boss, right? Or try it with clients, right? If you're trying to connect with them or if you're trying to break rapport with them. Or if you're trying to break rapport, this is a really good one. Whenever I'm out at a party or a social event and talking to somebody I don't want to talk to, right? It's nothing wrong if you don't want to talk to somebody. And it's that awkward moment when you just don't know how to get out of the conversation. And this is actually a very valuable skill to learn. It's basically, oh, I'm talking to this person and I don't want to be there anymore. And instead of lying to them, right, you can just break rapport, right? Just change the story, make them disinterested, right? And then they'll quickly walk away and you'll love it. Try it out. So the last part, the last major chunk is your physiology, right? How you're physically moving your body, how you're physically standing, how you're physically holding yourself, how you are physically breathing into your diaphragm, not up here in your chest and tightness. Breathe deep into your lower abdominal area, right? What are you doing with your body on a day-to-day basis, on a minute-to-minute basis, right? That is very powerful, right? That is the quickest way you can change what I like to call your state. Your state is kind of the physical feeling that you're having in your body at a certain moment in time, right? If you're not feeling so great, you can jump out of it in a second, in a heartbeat, right? You think you don't have control, but you do have control. If you started jumping up and down, even though something terrible happened, it'll change your state. Even though it sucks that something terrible happened to you, I know, I'm not saying it didn't happen. What I'm saying is, no matter how bad things happen to you in life, I know it's terrible, but you can choose to dwell on it and be miserable and not move forward with your life and make your life the way you want it to be, or you can change your state, change your physiology, move, make a power move, right? Move your body as if you already are doing what you want to do in your life, right? Create the results. Act as if you are already the person you want to be. If you're an athlete, walk on the court as if you are Michael Jordan, right? You see tennis players, basketball players, any athlete, they have daily rituals when they are step on the court, right? To get them in that state, in that zone. Tennis players bounce the ball a certain way. Basketball players, they have their ritual. Football players, they have their daily ritual, to get themselves in state through their physiology, because your physiology is the quickest way to change your biochemistry. This is all physical, proven scientific fact. It's not some hokey pokey stuff I'm talking to you about. So that's it. Physiology, third part. All right, so those are the three parts. Your mental focus, your language, your physiology. Those are the three ways that you can learn to master your mind, your body, your emotions, and the results you create in your life. All right? So, in closing, if you want to learn more about this, you can always sign up for a free coaching session with me. Lots of people want to learn more about this. I have a few coaching spots open. My regular rate right now is $9.95 a month. For 2 sessions a month, you'll have 2 hourly sessions with me every month to create the results that you want in your life, right? So we'll break down each area of your life, what your goals are in that area, and we'll set up a game plan and a strategy and get you clear on your outcomes and the best ways for you to achieve those results. Right now, for a limited time, I'm actually offering coaching for a reduced price of $4.95 a month. Why am I doing this? The reason I'm doing this is because I want to open my services up to people that couldn't necessarily afford it. Before, I was reaching out to people that were pretty successful already. They could afford $9.95 a month. $4.95 a month, I know it's still probably a stretch for most people, but it is what you got to do in order to get the results you want in your life. The reason people need to pay for things is because it's leverage. If you don't pay for something, you don't value it, right? You got to stretch. You got to become more to appreciate and value what it is you are wanting to buy and create in your life. So $4.95 a month for the coaching, you would get 2 sessions a month for an hour of my time. We would create an awesome, amazing map of the results you want to get in your life. And it's always changing, right? As you start achieving one goal, it changes to another goal. As you start achieving other goals, it shifts your life, right? As you create more success in your business, then your personal life starts to fade, or your goals shift in your physical life, right? Or they get, since the energy pulls more there, right? So then you go back to your physical life, then we go back into your finances, then we go into relationships, right? So whatever it is for you in the moment that you need coaching on, that you need to create more results, that you need to learn how to master and internalize your mental and emotional state, that's what we work on every month, twice a month, all right? It's a proven effective method. Coaching gets the best results. Everybody has a coach. Athletes have coaches. Michael Jordan and Phil Jackson. The coach isn't always better necessarily than the athlete, but the reason the coach is valuable is because the coach, his job or her job is to observe you, to notice what you are and aren't doing to create the results you want in your life, right? If you say you want to do something, and they keep you accountable, right? You say you have goals, did you do it? And why or why not? And then you adjust, right? And a coach, again, they have a disassociated point of view. They see what you're doing and they give you feedback, constructive criticism to take the proper steps to get your results. Who else has a coach? Tony Robbins, of course, I'm sure you know who he is. He coaches some of the most successful people in the world for $1 million a year. That's right. And he does about 4 sessions a month, 4 sessions a year with them, I believe. The reason it's so effective is because he literally, it is proven and effective. He gets into their blueprint, their mental blueprint, and the changes he makes are so optimized to create those downstream effects in every other area of your life, right? You don't even need to do more. A lot of the things people do in life is noise, right? They shuffle and they major in minor things. You want to focus on the majors, major in major things, where you make one tweak, small tweak even relative, and it makes huge, massive change, right? That's what we'll do. We'll make tweaks here and there that make massive change instead of having a to-do list and trying to do a million things and not even getting closer to your result. So in closing, if you want to sign up, it's you can go to my website at naeemmahmood.com. There's a free sign-up form right there on the website. You can sign up for a free coaching session, see how you like it. And we will be having another webinar next week, and I look forward to seeing you and also having you bring on some more of your friends and family as well. Take care, guys. Have a great night. I'll talk to you later. Bye.